Hi everyone, welcome to the live webinar. My name is Christina Kiddelstad and I am the tutor at QC Design School for the Color Consultation course, and I am the owner of Spiral Design Color Consulting in Denver. During this webinar, I'm going to give you a glimpse into the world of color consulting, what it is, and what skills you need to be successful. I want to share really quickly before we get started an amazing offer that QC Design School has right now. QC is offering 10% off the color consultation course until August 2nd to all new students and 50% off to current students and graduates on additional courses. So that's just an amazing offer, and I hope that you all, after we talk today, I hope you take advantage of this amazing offer. I wish this was here for me when I started out as a color consultant. I think this just would have been so great. Such a great offer. And we'll post a link with more details as well as we get going. So a little bit about myself. I've been a color consultant for over 18 years. It's a really long time. And color has always been a big part of my life. Painting or crafting as a child, studying fine art in college, working as a program director with arts nonprofit organizations, with arts and education in K through 12 schools, where we did after-school arts programs, in-school programs. I actually worked with artists, visual artists, all types of artists, putting them into K through 12 schools and working with K through 12 students to do performances and workshops and artists in residence. So that was a big piece for me in working in the arts before I became a color consultant. And then, of course, starting my own business. I got to a place where I couldn't do both anymore, and I had to choose, and this was my passion. And I loved color, and it came naturally to me, and it started out as a hobby, and people kept asking for it more and more. And so I decided to go for it and make the leap, and I left my position as a program director, which was really hard for me, working with so many great students and artists in the area. But I had to do it. This is what I was good at, and this was my passion, and this is where I wanted to be, and I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to be in charge of my own schedule. I wanted to start a family at the time, and so I wanted that freedom that would allow me to do those things. One big piece, in retrospect, is I also come from a family of a long line of small business owners, designers, carpenters, builders. So it's just really no surprise in looking back now how I got to this point in my life and how I got to this place as a professional color consultant and color expert. So that's pretty cool. I currently work with clients offering interior and exterior paint, color, and design consultations. I would say at this point, the majority of my consultations are virtual consultations, which I know is still sort of a new thing. Some people have been doing it for a really long time, but I know to my clients it's still something new that they didn't know existed. You know, it's just like when I became a color consultant, they didn't know what that was. They said, "What's a color consultant? What is that? How can I be that?" You know, what do you do if you're a color consultant? So I do consultations, virtual consultations, all over the country, and I do home staging consultations as well, occupied home staging to sell consultations, and I actually can do those virtually as well too, which is really, really nice. One other big piece of what I do as a color consultant is I assist HOAs with their color services. So if homeowner associations have outdated color schemes and it's time for them to repaint, I will work with them to create new schemes for their communities or update their current color books if they are outdated or they don't have the right schemes that HOA is looking for. Then I will come in and assist them with that. So one big question I get a lot, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering too, is what is color consulting? So I would say, after a lot of thought, a good definition would be color consulting is the field of using color theory, psychology, trends, and more to create color palettes and design solutions that meet your client's expectations and what their goals are for whatever project they're working on. So whether it's interior, exterior, residential, commercial, or more, that's a pretty solid definition of what color consulting is and what it includes. So another big question is, who in the world hires a color consultant, right? So I would say virtually anyone can hire a color consultant and can benefit from a color consultant services. I have been hired by a huge variety of clients, from designing, let's see, the interior of a ship for the Oregon River Bar pilots. Their board could not agree on a design and they had no idea where to start. They didn't necessarily want an interior designer because they wanted someone that was good at color. So I came in and worked on that. I have worked on creating a regional color palette for the owner of a national yurt company who designs permanent yurts. So for example, if someone's retiring and they want a small or tiny home or something that's more permanent, these yurts are permanent, and they wanted regional color schemes all over the country that people could choose from. So you just never know who's going to contact you for a color project. And I think that's half the fun. I love the variety of every project I do. It never gets old. Yes, sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes you have challenging clients, but that's in any field. That's in anything you do. It is still a job at the end of the day. So there are pieces of that that you have to be flexible on, but it never gets old for me, and it really keeps my creativity flowing, as I never know who's going to call with the next project and what that's going to look like, which I love. So I want to welcome everybody that's on here so far. Hi, everybody. Hi, Wendy. Great to see you on here. Wendy is one of my former students that I had the pleasure of tutoring, and I'm so excited for her. She's doing so well out there in the design and color world, so congratulations. Who else is on here? Denise, Catherine, I see you all are on here. Celeste, welcome everyone. So I would say the majority of people who hire color consultants are homeowners. That's the biggest chunk of people that I work with are residential homeowners who just want a second opinion. Either they have no idea where to start and they're overwhelmed, or they have 50 paint swatches up on their walls already and they're completely frustrated and overwhelmed and on a deadline with their painter to just get the colors picked, and they want them to look good. So mostly homeowners, but also business owners if they are redesigning an office. I just worked with a dentist this past week. You know, different types of businesses like that who are redesigning their office spaces or their corporate spaces. Think hospitality, so like restaurants, hotels, theater spaces even. One other big person that I work with is painters. I work with painters. Painters is huge. I would say this is a huge tip. If you are looking to be a color consultant and this is what you want to do, get to know your local painters. Meet with them, talk with them, get coffee with them, ask them what their projects look like, who's their ideal client, and you know, who's your ideal client, and that's the best way to connect with them. Realtors as well. If you also do home staging and color is a part of that, realtors are really great to connect with in your community and nationally, because you never know who's going to call you with a project. HOAs, I know I already mentioned that, but homeowners associations are really big. Those are a little bit bigger projects, so it's a little bit different dynamic than walking into someone's home and working with them on a single consultation, but it can be a lot of fun. I really love those projects actually, and I love designing those overall color schemes, and then seeing them go up in an entire neighborhood is really satisfying when you drive out to this community that the colors are when they started, and then you see those new colors start to go up and everybody's extremely happy and has that pride in their neighborhood and in their community. And then multifamily communities, so apartment buildings, townhomes, condominiums, row homes, those kind of communities as well, I do a lot of work with. So which industries do color consultants mainly work in? I know we just touched base about this a little bit, but real estate is huge, residential construction, home builders, healthcare, education, and hospitality, I think would be some of the top industries that color consultants work in. And I would say there's a lot of crossover. So if it's an industry that interior designers would work with a lot, color consultants would probably work with them a lot as well. So there's a lot of back and forth and partnership and crossover in those areas. So are you interested in being a color consultant? Do you wonder what skills you need to develop as a color consultant to be successful? So here are some of the skills that I think are really important. Every client is unique, so your people skills and excellent customer service skills are a must. They're a must. So if you have to be a good people person, you have to have a good phone manner and you have to be a good listener. And it will win you the project almost every time. Even if your fees are higher than another designer or consultant, if you have good people skills and you are listening to what your client wants, not necessarily what your vision for the project would be, but what your client wants, that is just huge. I can't stress that enough. Developing a strong knowledge of color terminology, color theory, and psychology, lighting, designing spaces, including painting and furnishing a room, and how to successfully work within a budget are crucial. And those are all things that you would learn in the color consultation course with QC Design School. Those are all topics and areas that they look into specifically, and you get practice and you learn all of those necessary skills in those areas. So are you wondering how you can develop your skills as a consultant? Number one, take the QC Color Consultant course. It's the biggest step you can take towards your goal. Register today and you get 10% off as a new student. I mean, that's huge. And you receive 50% off if you're already a student or you're a graduate. So if you graduated, say you graduated from the interior design course and now you really are thinking, you know, color is a big piece of this. I get these questions a lot on my projects. I'd really like to learn more about that and be much stronger in this area. So 50% off, that's crazy. I wish I had that when I started out, really. I can't even imagine what a blessing that would have been to have all of this kind of information concisely put together in one place. It just saves you so much time. So much of what I learned was by experience and trial and error. I did get a certification as well when I started, so I just absorbed everything that I could. But if I had had this, if I had had the QC course to start me out and work from, that would have been huge, just to get me really focused and to find out where my strengths were and what I needed to work on. If you enroll in this course, you would work with me, your personal tutor, to develop all those skills that I just mentioned. So that's really great. Things that you would learn: how to do a paint consultation, how to work with different lighting, how to renovate a room, how to manage your clients successfully. Like we talked about the people skills, that is huge because that can make or break a project. You might be really good at design or really good at color, but if you can't manage your clients, especially sometimes if they're more high maintenance than others, or they have just more challenges, if the project's just a bigger or challenging project, you have to know how to manage that well, not just for them, but for yourself to be successful and be happy as a color expert. And you also would be developing your personal brand position and your target clientele. So brand position's huge. You know, I feel like sometimes people get a little lost there. And so to have some direction and recommendations on how to create that and get really specific, imagine the marketing dollars that saves you when you get going. You receive in-depth support throughout the entire course as you complete each unit. You receive personal feedback from me and tips. So I will give you all my feedback on all of the assignments and tell you, go back and look at this again, or you can improve here, or keep this in mind when you're working on this type of project. It's really, really great. You'll discover where your strengths lie and where they don't. So where you need a little bit more work than maybe you thought. But sometimes you surprise yourself and you say, wow, I am really good at corporate color projects, or I am really good at designing a nursery. I love working with children's spaces, and I had no idea until I took this course. And it's just, I love it. I love watching students go through this program and discovering that and saying, wow, I was so good at that. I had no idea. So it can be really fun. Another great way to develop your skills as a color consultant is to get as much hands-on training and experience as possible. This is huge. Take any opportunity that you're given or that comes up, or create those opportunities yourself to shadow another color consultant or a designer during their consultations. If they won't let you shadow them during an actual consultation, ask them if you can shadow them or intern in their office. They have so many odds and end jobs and organizing and connecting with their clients and just lots of different pieces and marketing and things that they need so much help with. I can tell you firsthand, there's lots of projects, the smaller things where you can learn so much about being a color consultant by working with another designer and another consultant. So keep that in mind. So take that opportunity if it comes up, if someone says, hey, we could really use your help, or look up a few of your favorite design firms in town or color consultants and say, hey, I really want to learn more. How can I help you? I think you'd be surprised. So ask, put yourself out there, be brave. It's the only way for you to be successful in this field is to be brave. Just do it. Just go out there and do it. And if you know you're good at it, remember that, because sometimes in the beginning it can be a little challenging, but so is any field that you start out in and work your way up. So keep that in mind. Volunteer as a local color consultant in your community. Is there a project at your office, your school, your church who could really use a professional eye? Maybe they have some big project, but they don't have the big bucks to pay, and they really could use a second opinion on someone who really knows what they're doing. Perfect opportunity for you. These experiences combined with educational training, it will really help you get the skills that are necessary to be successful in this field. Pay attention to color trends, attend design events, Visit showrooms, which, hey, that's fun. You know, I know a lot of people in office jobs, desk jobs, who wish that's what they could do during the day. So go visit showrooms, see what's new, talk with your local painters. That is one of the biggest things that really got me going consistently, was connecting with my local painters and your paint stores. Go in there, give them a business card. If you don't have one, make a business card. Go in there, talk to them, tell them who you are, tell them, you know, you're ready to help their customers when they come in and they're a little confused. Ask them to give your number out and your information. That can be really helpful. Read design and color magazines. Who doesn't love to do that anyway? I know you all are probably already reading. I mean, who doesn't have HGTV, you know, magazine on their coffee table? Who doesn't binge watch Fixer Upper? You know, I mean, just, we do it all anyway naturally because it's what we love. So absorbing that, you know a lot more than you realize compared to the average person who maybe isn't so interested in color and design. But all of these things will assist you in developing your skills and keeping your creative juices flowing, which is huge. This is an art form, in my opinion. If I work really hard on too many projects all at once, nose to the grindstone, and I don't stop and go get that inspiration that I need, it can be something as dumb as like getting some ice cream with sprinkles on it for the afternoon and just taking a 10-minute break, or going to a local gallery and seeing the latest art show. Anything that inspires you and develops your color skills is going to be helpful, and you really do not ever want to forget that, especially down the road. You always want to nurture that creativity because it's really important, and you can't force it sometimes, so it's really important. Okay, some specific job responsibilities of a color consultant include creating personalized color schemes for clients on a budget and a deadline. Usually they have a deadline, like, my painter's coming 2 days from now. Can you help me pick colors? We're in a bind. Or we have 2 months from now and, you know, we want to take our time and get the colors right. Working with color psychology to determine what colors work best on a specific project and for specific populations, because that will vary. And that is something that you need to learn that will really help you depending on what kind of project pops up. Working with different design materials such as flooring, tile, furnishings, accessories, stone. Roofing is a really big one for me when I'm working with exteriors. Many, many times the homeowners don't even think about the roofing until I point it out, like, oh yeah, we have colors in our roofing, or we're getting a new roof and we don't know what color we're going to choose yet. So that comes into play as well, not just the paint scheme that we're putting up on the house. But all of these, you know, will help create a well-designed color palette if you know what you're doing. Working with a wide variety of clients, from homeowners to entire communities. I know we talked about that, so it could be anybody, which is actually really fun. Being a skillful color expert that is confident and ready to take the lead on a project to assist your clients in making the best color choices. So you have to be the lead. You have to say, I'm the expert, I know what's best in this situation, or you're at least willing to come up with solutions that your client's going to be really happy with. So if you're not confident, then your client's not going to be confident. And if they're calling you, it's probably because they're not confident and they're looking for someone that's going to come in and really help them. So that's important. Use your creativity and be willing to think outside the box. Present those ideas to your client that they might not thought of. You know why? Because they're in their house every day. They look at it every day in and day out, and they can't think outside the box. But you've never been to their house, so you can look at their space and say, you know, what have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about maybe doing a fun wallpaper on that wall? Or, you know, things they wouldn't have even thought of. And they get so excited when these fresh ideas come in. You know, that's what they're paying for, is to have an expert think of these things. So use your natural talent and creativity. Create that magic with your clients. It's why they hire an expert, and they won't forget you, and they will almost always certainly refer you. So keep that in mind. And they'll come back to you. I have clients from 10 years ago who will drop me an email and say, we're doing our colors again, or we moved, or we're working on this room now, and we can't wait to work with you again. So you just never know. And that's so fun when those old clients you loved working with the first time pop back up again. It's a really good feeling. Okay. If you love color and design and you're looking to become a successful color consultant, I highly recommend you take the color consultant course with QC Design School. It's such a strong foundation to launching your career, if that's what you're wanting to do, and giving you the necessary tools to be a success. It's been so wonderful to support my students like Wendy through the program and see them move on to be successful color consultants and secure positions they love in the color and design world. You know, when you're taking the course and you're starting out and you're really working on your skill set, And then to see yourself get that first position or to move on, and you're like, wow, I'm really doing it. I did it. This is what I wanted to do, and here I am, is a really amazing feeling when you get to that point. And it's an amazing feeling for me too, to see that happen, to work so hard with you and see you get there where you want to be. Okay, let's see, what time is it? So we have some time for some Q&A. I'm going to try to answer the questions that I can. I know they're probably going to come in pretty quickly, so if I don't get to your question, I will answer it after the webinar, the live webinar. We will answer it. If it's a question related to the course, to the color consultation course with QC Design School, there will be links posted to give you full details and more information on that. So let's see, if you have any questions for me, go ahead and post those, and I will be watching for them here. Let's see. Do you teach about warm and cool undertones in the space to determine color? Yes, absolutely. That is covered in the course. You are given specific rooms, and you are taught all about working with warm and cool undertones. And you will be an expert when you're finished with that part of the course. So yes, that is definitely covered, Marie. Let's see, are there any other questions? Let's see here. How do you find out what level of saturation of color your clients like? So again, that is something that is covered in the course. Saturation is covered. And I think it's probably a little easier than you think, but the course goes over that really well, and that's something that we will study. Let's see. Any other questions? Anyone else? Any questions for me on my experience as a color consultant? You know, how I got started, anything I can share with you. I really want to be helpful today on this webinar, and I really, if you're not sure about being a color consultant, you know, what questions you have, let me know. Let's see. How long is the course? So it's a self-paced course. There are 3 units, A, B, and C, and each one has a set number of assignments that you work through, but it is self-paced, Linda. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Hi, Mindy from Maryland. Maria, Stitz, Aaron. So many people. Catherine. Let's see. Who am I missing? Terry, Amber, Patty. Okay. Let's see. Let me come back down here and see if there's any more questions. How did you start and branch off to solely color consulting? Do you work under an interior designer, or do the clients personally request for you to work with them? This is from Stitz. Okay, so how did you start out and branch off to solely color consulting? I started out specifically as a color consultant. I just cut to the chase. I went right for it. I knew that's what I was good at. I knew I didn't necessarily want to space plan entire rooms, because color and paint color is really where my passion was. So I just went straight for it. I do not work under an interior designer. This is my own company, my own business. I set this up myself. Spiral Design Color Consulting. You can Google it. Maybe we can post a link to my website as well. You can check that out later, just to give you some more ideas on how I work and what services I offer. And do the clients personally request for you to work with them? So yes, they call me directly. Tons of it is word of mouth at this point, but people do Google me and go to my website. And call me and email me, and then local word of mouth, local email sites, you know, websites, neighborhood sites, that kind of thing. If I'm working with someone, they tell their neighbors, and their neighbors say, who did you work with? What's her number? We need her. So that kind of thing will start happening. The more you do it, the more word of mouth will happen. So I hope that answers your question. The color wheel drives me crazy, Deborah says. I don't feel confident with it. What do you recommend, or am I missing something about the color wheel? Okay, so the color wheel kind of drives me crazy too, if I'm honest. I think if color comes naturally to you, don't stress so much about the color wheel. You know, your clients probably aren't experts in the color wheel either. This is something that is covered in the course, and I think it would take a lot of that stress out of it for you, and you realize, you know, it's not something that you need to stress about so much. They will give you specifics throughout the course that we will work with, and I will work with you on that. So don't stress about that too much. But it does drive me nuts too. It drives me nuts sometimes when I have certain clients or architects call me and say, well, I've got a color wheel in my office. I don't need a color expert to help me. And I say, okay. So yeah, so I've heard that one a few times. I've had painters tell me that too. Well, we have a color wheel. We have a fan deck. We're fine. We don't need help. And I say, okay, well, that's not my target clientele. That's not my ideal market. So that's not a good fit for me. Let's see, Mindy. I know there was an offer for the interior design course, the home staging course, and the color consultant course. Is this possible to complete at the same time, or can you complete one course at a time using the offer? Mindy, that is a great question. I am going to defer to that, and we'll post an answer, a more specific answer, and a link for you. I believe it's possible to complete at the same time because it's self-paced, so it just depends how fast or slow you want to go. And you can complete one course at a time if there's one thing you are really excited about, you know, and you want to start with that one and focus on that one. So I hope, you know, we'll get you more information on that. Denise is asking, tell us more about virtual consulting and how that works. So I actually, for me, it started out kind of crazy. I loved going to everyone's homes, and I did this for many, many years. I started to burn out, honestly. I started to burn out. I was driving in my car every day, you know, miles and miles from one end of town to the other, leaving the city and coming back, and it was exhausting me. And I was a new mother, and I realized I just could not keep that pace up. And at the same time, I was having people call me from all over the country and saying, would you please work with me? I know you can't get here, but can you work virtually with me? And I'd say, absolutely. So the process is almost the same. It's a little different. I'm working with their images, not necessarily in person in their home. And some some clients are perfect for this process and some are not. And you will discover that if you start doing virtual consultations. You will talk people through it when they call you and what the process is that you offer. And some will say, oh no, I really need someone here in person to look at each room and look at the lighting. And then you get some clients who say, here's the exterior of my house. We just built it and we need a new color scheme, and working virtually would be perfect. So I love working virtually. It has been a godsend for me. I had some really serious health issues 2 years ago, and working virtually has been amazing for me. It was honestly a lifesaver that I could keep doing the work I love and do it well. And I actually find now that I have more time to work with my clients because I'm not on the road constantly. I'm actually in my home office working on their colors and really being able to give it that creativity that it deserves instead of one client after the next just running around like, you know, a chicken with their head cut off. So it's been really good for me. Do you color consult only or incorporate that with other fields like design or staging or redesign? So I am a color consultant first and foremost. I do occupied home stagings as well, and I do design consultations. So I am not a full interior designer. That is not what I do. I do some design consultation because of course that comes into play when you're working with color, especially paint color. People are usually redesigning the entire space top to bottom sometimes, you know, when you're coming in and doing paint color. So I do incorporate other fields as well, but color consultation, Marie, is what I focus on. That is, and I think it's really important to hone in on, you know, one or two things that you're really good at and what you really want to focus on. And don't try to do too many things, and don't try to make so many different people happy and saying, yes, we offer this service, and yes, we offer that service, and oh yeah, we offer that service too, just because you call it NAST and we want to get you as a client. It will burn you out, and you won't, you know, you'll be spread too thin. And I don't think that's the best way to be an expert in what you do. I think you really got to focus on what you're amazing at, what comes naturally to you, what comes easily to you. Like what, you know, out of all these things, what could you sit down and just do for hours at a time and get lost in it and do really good quality work? I think that's what I would focus on the most. Linda's asking if we can view this webinar again. Yes, I hope we're going to save it and post it so we can view it again. Since you are in Canada, are the color names different from the US? So I love this question. Yes, honestly, sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's different. You know, a lot of people use Benjamin Moore. I use Sherwin-Williams a lot here, you know, and we have so many different brands of paint manufacturers. So yes, it can definitely vary, but that doesn't really affect our working together on the color course. If you do the color consultation course, it's all set up in such a way that everything translates really well, and you don't have to worry about that. So, but it can be different. But I actually think that's a fun challenge. I've had customers in Europe call me, you know, and you know, ask me what I'm using, because that's the thing. Like, you know, we all have access to different manufacturers. Sometimes it can be a challenge, but I think it's kind of fun. Catherine, I'm a grad of Staging Diva with Deborah Gould. Am I eligible to enroll in the color consultation course? I'm not sure. We will get back to you on that. Amber's asking, is there a section in the course that includes information and guidance on setting up your own color consulting business? Yes. So you focus on who's your target market, what's your brand position, all of these things. So yes, there is a piece of that that really gets you focused and setting up guidance on setting up your own business. It really helps you kind of hone in and get clear. And as you go through the course, like I said before, you kind of learn where your strengths are, so you can learn on, you know, what you want to focus on and what you're putting out there for your marketing as a color consultant when you start your business. It really helps you get clear on that. So you're not kind of putting a little bit of everything out there hoping that you're going to, you know, get everyone's attention. It teaches you to really get specific. So definitely, Amber, yeah, that would be a great piece of the course for you. How do you price your services? Maria is asking. Okay, so how do I price my services? So a couple different things. What are other people charging in the area? Because it's different, you know, it's all across the board, no matter where you go. The prices are gonna be higher, they're gonna be lower. So what I could charge here in Denver, I probably couldn't charge as much in my hometown back in Florida. What I charge in Denver, I could probably charge a lot more for in, say, California. So it just depends. You know, if cost of living's higher, you can charge more. I also, depends on the project. If you're just calling to pick a color for an accent wall and you've got one day to do it, I'm not going to charge you as much as if we're doing a full home interior or exterior project. So there's a lot of variables for me on how I determine my fees. You know, what's your deadline? Do you need it now, or do we have time to really work through it? Is also important to me. So, and how I price my services too is if I'm working with a painter, if it's one of my preferred painters that I work with and we have a really solid relationship in referring business to each other, I actually will discount his clients. So I like to honor that and give them a little bit of a discount as a thank you for referring me and sending them to work with me and not someone else. So I would say think about what's your worth and what are people actually charging, you know, just to kind of give you a realistic perspective on that too. And you'll hear different things. You know, I've had bids come through and they say, hey, you know, you were a lot cheaper than the other two that we interviewed, or hey, you were right in the middle or higher, but we loved, you know, we connected with you the best and we think you're the best fit for our project. So it can be all over the place. Okay, I think we have time for one or two more questions. Let's see, how much do you charge? Is it hourly? I do not do hourly. I do per project, I decided. I like to do per project because I like to say, this is what it's gonna cost, and here's what's included, and that's that. If we finish and they come back later and say, okay, now we've got this or that, then I'll go to an hourly setup for fee structure. But I like, me personally, I've tried both through the years, and I like to have a per project fee, and that will vary between clients. You know, it won't be the same fee for everyone all the time. I try to have a pretty set structure, but it will be adjusted based on each project and whether it's residential or commercial, exterior, interior, all of those kinds of things. Do you incorporate fabric colors in your consultations? Denise says, yes, I love to do that. Nothing is more fun than when you're working with a client and they say, oh, I have this blue velvet chair and the color is my favorite color in the whole world and I really want to match that color. You know, or I have a color, I have this ruby red in this rug that we just bought and I'm in love with it. Can you match it? I mean, I love working with fabric colors. It's so fun and it's such a fun challenge to match to a paint color. Like, that's like playing for me. So yeah, I definitely incorporate fabric too. Okay, will the course cover what to charge clients for projects? A little bit. You'll learn how to work within a budget, and I think the course would help you kind of narrow down what you think you want to charge, because you'll learn what you're good at and what you need to work more on, those kinds of things. Do you teach how to find a source of inspiration and find colors? Yes, you will spend a lot of time on things like Pinterest to get those juices flowing and that creativity going. And how to share that inspiration as well when you're working on a project. And to me, that's priceless to learn how to do all of that with your clients. I think that's a really big piece of why this course is so amazing. Okay. And again, Stitz is asking, how long do we have to complete the course? That is a good question. I will let Design School comment on that. It looks like they did. Let's see. Okay, one or two more questions. What are the in colors for 2018? What's out? Oh my gosh, you guys. I don't even want to answer that question because whatever I tell you, someone else is going to say the opposite. I mean, it's like fashion, right? If I say mom jeans are in, someone else is going to be like, no, they're not. So it's all over the place. But I would say, you know, like I said, absorb those design trends. Follow your paint companies. Like Sherwin-Williams does a color thing every year that's amazing, where they introduce the colors for the coming year. And it's so fun to see what they sat down and came up with. I mean, I think that's the most fun as a color consultant. Is to get to do these things. I would say that blues are not going anywhere. Colorful kitchens, getting away from the white will stay, but people love colorful kitchens. They're looking at teals and blues cabinetry and islands, kitchen islands, and I just think that's super fun. And I am seeing people coming back to some earth tone palettes, maybe not as gray, but maybe not as tan, maybe a little more taupe, those kinds of things too. Let's see, how long have I been doing this? I have been doing this for 18 years, and I would argue longer. I actually had a old roommate from college tell me a long time ago, so I'm turning 40 this month, and she said, you've been doing color way longer than that. You were even doing color in our apartment in college. You were trying to design everything and do color. So really, honestly, I was born with it. It's something I can't separate from who I am and what I do for a living. It's just, it's all the same at this point. Catherine, yes, Sherwin-Williams is my go-to as well. I always come back to them and I love it. I love their colors. I love working with their people. Wendy, I know you're listening and you love Sherwin-Williams too. They are the best. They have taken such good care of me over the years. I can call them when I have a big time crunch on a big HOA project and I need to get oversized swatches mailed to them like tomorrow. They will help me out when I'm in a crunch. They're simple and they're easy to work with. It's not complicated, not pretentious. They get you what you need, and they treat you the same as any other designer, whether you're, a huge design firm or you are a woman like me who just owns her own smaller business, but is taking on, just as many projects. So I think they're great. Marie says, Christina, another Florida girl. Woo! Go Florida girls. We know our colors too, I would say. You can see the teal behind me and the pink. I'm a Florida girl, and I'm in the middle of Colorado. So what can I say? Can't take the girl. You can take the girl out of Florida, right? But that's it. Okay. I think that's as many as we're going to get to for today. On trend purples, yes. I would say those berry, really deep purples, definitely on trend. And those really gray, hazy purples are really on trend too. How do you feel about white walls? I love white walls. I actually have a light gray wall, almost white, because I love color and I work with color so much every day that sometimes I need my eyes just to be able to relax on something calm. And so I actually like sometimes white, white painted furniture or white cotton sheets or some white walls in my house are actually really calming for me and relaxing. And it just takes the edge off, because when you do work with color every day and your eyes are just constantly looking at colors every day, it's nice to have a little bit of white around. And I'm a huge fan of bright white clean trim. I always have been. I do like to paint trim colors sometimes, but that's my kind of signature thing when I'm doing colors. I really do like clean white trim. Okay. I think I got everyone. We will go back through, and if I didn't get an answer to answer one of your questions, we will go back and look at those and make sure we get answers for you. But this has been awesome, and thank you so much for coming on today and taking the time on your Tuesday. I know it's been a crazy week here so far and busy with projects, and so it's been really nice to come on here and share with all of you fellow either fellow designers or up-and-coming designers, and I look forward to seeing you in the QC design course and the color consultation course. I hope you enroll. I mean, it's amazing what you're getting. It's been wonderful sharing the world of color consulting with all of you today, and I invite you to join us at the QC Design School. I promise you'll have a really fun time, and you will learn so much. Don't forget, there's a 10% discount for all new students. This is through August 2nd only, and 50% discount for current students and graduates. So get enrolled. If this is something you love and you want to do it, don't wait. Don't stall. Don't keep researching and thinking about it and mulling it over. At some point you just have to stop and say, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm good at. Everybody knows this is, my passion, and go for it. Just do it. Just don't. I mean, I honestly, in the beginning, I didn't have a plan B. Probably would have been smart to have a plan B, but I didn't. And I feel like now looking back, that's why I did so well, because I had a fire lit under me and there was no option. There was no plan B. So I was doing this and I was going to do it to the best of my ability, and I was going to love it while I was doing it, and I was going to do it my way. And I've been so blessed that it has worked out well for me, and that my clients love working with me, and that the projects keep coming. So you just got to do your best. Best of luck to all of you as you move forward with your career goals, whatever those are, as a designer or a color consultant, or a home stager, or all of it. If you love doing all of it, we've had so many different types of students in the program that I've been tutoring, wedding planners, designers. I mean, it's been everything. And so it's been really fun to kind of see how people want to pull in color and get better at color, because there's so many different industries. Having a strong knowledge of color is going to help you because you might be one of the only people in the room who really would understand it, and they will come to you for those projects. So best of luck. Bye everyone. This has been amazing, and I hope to see you on here. I hope to see you in the QC Design School Color Consultation course. I hope to be your tutor and keep working with you to get better at color and make your goals happen. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.